This is one morning when you might have expected Mrs. Thatcher to have had a lie-in, but as she said on a previous occasion, the word is not in her vocabulary. She and Mr. Thatcher voted at 7:20 a.m. Others may scarcely have risen from their beds, but Mrs. Thatcher's political nostrils were already twitching.
We hope to win. You know, Michael, we don't count chickens because the poll's only just started.
Prime Minister.
Later, as Mrs. Thatcher plus husband and son helped get out the North London vote, a rare moment. While Mr. Thatcher ran absolutely true to form in his method of telling the time of day, Mrs. Thatcher at 11:20 a.m. seemed to have lost hers.
Have you had breakfast?
No.
Not had breakfast? Oh,
Something
dear.
you read about, don't you?
Waiting for a beer.
Yes.
Mrs. Thatcher, one assumes, is thinking rather more in terms of champagne. Michael Brunson, News at 1 in North London. Michael Brunson, ITN in North London.
According to the jacket.
Why not?
Mr. Foote only needs 4 or 5 hours sleep a night, and so he emerged from number 10 Morgan Street, Tredegar at 7 a.m. this morning pretty cheerful. Though the night before he'd called the Tory press's coverage of the election despicable, and Dizzie showed what he thought. Despite their gloomy forecasts for Labour, Mr. Foote bought most of the papers. He met several early morning well-wishers, but he didn't manage to get into a little park to let Dizzie off the lead. After breakfast, Mr. Foote emerged again, this time with his wife Jill. They're spending the day visiting every polling station in his constituency. In the past, Mr. Foote has had one of the biggest Labour majorities in the country. David Rose, ITN, South Wales.
It was the first morning in 28 days that Mr. Roy Jenkins was able to relax with his wife over the papers at their Glasgow flat. While Mr. Jenkins has spent the campaign crisscrossing the country a score or more times, Mrs. Jennifer Jenkins has been out each day canvassing for the Alliance on the streets of Glasgow. But this morning, once they went out for the 300-yard walk to the polling station, the gaggle of special branch detectives and reporters fell back into line behind them. This is, of course, though, the still photographer's moment. Mr. Jenkins believes he has good cause to smile, with the last opinion polls showing the Alliance neck and neck with Labour. His own party's polls put the Alliance comfortably in second place. But privately, party workers admit that Mr. Jenkins' title of Prime Minister designate is, with today's vote anyway, wishful thinking. Derek Taylor, News at 1, Glasgow.
The quiet of David Steele's Borders cottage at 8:15 this morning was suddenly broken, and instantly the photographers were at their work. In fact, it was Mr. Steele's wife, Judy, giving the attendant press corps copies of the local tourist brochure. Well, you might like to come back once it's all over, she said. Then it was off to the polling station, accompanied by friends and supporters. Among them, Archie Kirkwood, who's fighting a neighbouring constituency. With only 70 people in the village, this is not likely to be the busiest centre of electoral activity today. But the vote cast, I asked the Alliance campaign leader if he felt they'd done enough.
Feel confident about this evening?
I'm very happy about this evening, yes. I think it's going to be a good day for us.
What are you going to be doing yourself during the day?
I'm going to go around touring the polling stations.
And what time will you be going to the count?
About midnight.
You looking for another victory around here as well?
I think we might just make it here, yes. All the best, Archie.
Good luck.
Right, thanks.
Then it was good luck and kisses for candidates and wives and the start of a long wait. Because for David Steele, as for so many other hopefuls, the truth will be revealed sometime tomorrow morning. Alastair Stewart, News at 1 in the Borders.
The explosion at about 7 o'clock this morning had been timed to coincide with the opening of the polling stations. This one was a few hundred yards from the incident. The blast was a small one, but it immediately set the tanker alight. The vehicle had been crashed into a fence surrounding the police station, which was full of reinforcements for today's big security operation. Police are now questioning the driver, who'd been held at gunpoint all night at his home. The terrorists had then ordered him to drive to the base. The security forces, worried about attacks like this, have stepped up security at all polling stations. They've said they expect violence from both loyalists and Republican groups. All leave has been cancelled for the immediate future. Police are also on the lookout for personation campaigns, a feature of elections in Northern Ireland where people illegally cast more than one vote. Michael Macmillan, News at 1 in Belfast.